I'm here on behalf of our Education and Conservation Department. I'm actually one of the tour supervisors for our education team. Behind the scenes here, we're going to see a number of different queue areas. You're going to see where we get everything prepped for the day and how our days start here at SeaWorld. So it kind of all starts in this behind the scenes area. You're going to see potentially carts driving back and forth, so I'll let you know when to move to the sides. If you can watch my back for me and let me know if I'm going to run into anything. You can do that by yelling out your favorite animal or just by saying shark. That's normally the tour guide lingo for you're going to fall. Watch out. So we are going to be meeting some of our team behind the scenes. Ask them as many questions as you'd like to. I will keep us on time, so I might be like, I can help answer that question as we keep going to that next section. There's 3 areas that we'll stop at. And this first area is kind of just a walkthrough. So you're seeing over here some of our different exhibits that have nothing in them right now, but they could potentially house animals in the future, depending on what we have here in the park. We're going to head behind the scenes, so please hold the door for folks behind you.
All right, guys.
First, heading behind the scenes. Now, how many of you have done this tour before? Has anyone done this tour before? I love it. A lot of new friends. We're going to head over to the right. Now, this is a main road for behind the scenes area. Stay to the right-hand side for me, just in case there are any carts that come by. And back here really is our second city within SeaWorld. Oh, wow. So this is mainly for us who work here, Med Services, Public Relations, the wonderful Education and Conservation Department. And then you'll have an area on the right-hand side, which looks like potentially a house area for animals. So we do have some temporary structures that were resurrected here, created in 2015 when we had our UME, which is an unusual mortality event. Every few years, depending on what's going on out in the ocean, we can get an overwhelming amount of rescue animals. And in that year, we had over 900 sea lions that came into SeaWorld San Diego that needed help. During that year, it was an overwhelming amount, so we resurrected new areas to house them because what we had couldn't keep up with the amount that we needed. And during that time, we actually shut down that SeaWorld Sea Lion show to give personnel an opportunity to help those animals. So we have a very unique position as part of the Marine Mammal Stranding Network to be able to allocate funds and personnel to help when there's an overwhelming amount of animals in need. Now on your right-hand side, while it looks like not that it's important of a building, it is actually one of the more important buildings that we have here. It's the water quality machine shop. The question I have for you is, what do all of our animals live in? Water. Water. It's a very important job that they have, making sure all of our filters are working, the water temperatures are accurate, the turbidity is good, the oxidation is good, so they have a very important job.
Good morning.
Taking care of
Welcome,
all
everybody.
of our animals. Now that area on the right-hand side is also very important. At 6 a.m. every morning, the team comes in and breaks out over 3,000 pounds of fish a day for the animals that live in the park. And they're breaking out all of that fresh, frozen fish to give to the animals that live here. Now right around the corner here is our Animal Care Center. This is the hospital. And just like your own human hospital that many of you have probably been to, it functions the same way here. So we're going to have us here talk about our animal hospital. This is kind of your first stop on the tour.
Hi guys, good morning. Good morning. All right, I am Dr. Rebecca Rivera. I'm not a veterinarian. I am a PhD and I admin the whole hospital. In staff, we have 3 full-time veterinarians. We're also a teaching hospital, so we have an intern at the moment. At times we have a resident and externs as well. So those are going to be the students or the veterinarians that do their general work, just like a general doctor. And then they come to places like this to specialize on aquatic animal medicine, sort of like a generalist then studies pediatrics or cardiology or so on.
So you're going to see our rescue facility. All of the animals that you're going to see right here, you're one of the few people that get a chance to see it because we have to keep them back here close to the hospital and away from our collection animals because we don't know what's going on. And so they stay here in our kind of like our outside hospital. We take care of them. We bring them in. Usually there's a truck parked here. You're going to see it at the very end of this tour. We bring them, we intake them here. We come up with the treatment plan. So right below, right next to those doors, that's what I kind of call our emergency room. That's where we bring in the patient. We get morphometrics on it, so we get their weight, we get their length, we sex them, so are they male or female, for all sorts of research for scientists and just kind of learning what's happening out in the ocean.
And then while we are back here, so everyone knows it is a working area, so one has to help us. Right hand side. I don't want to go to church. We'll stop right here. If you want to pull it down just a little bit more, just so everyone can see right here.
Okay, you guys wanted to see behind the scenes. This is part of our day. We have to clean their habitats. Does anyone own animal? I dropped a little ticket. I don't want you to. Thank you. In case you need it. If you have animals at home, right, you need to make sure they have a clean habitat. You need to make sure that they have food and water. We do the same. So what we do is we will lower our pools with the animals in the pool, clean all around, and then raise the pools. So right now the pools are coming up, which is actually kind of fun for the babies. They like to play around and jump in and get out. The amount of space that they like to jump from an empty pool is quite impressive. So sometimes we'll see sea lions in La Jolla. Have you guys ever seen the sea lions in La Jolla? They're on these massive rocks and you're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna jump in the water from there. And yeah, they do it. So these sea lions are about 6 months old. And we have other sea lions in the back. We also have a Guadalupe fur seal in that far pool, which is an endangered species. Really cool story about that species. They were almost hunted to extinction, and scientists found a breeding pair, and they kind of have a really great comeback story.
What species is it?
This is the Guadalupe fur seal. It's on the back side. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but these are all California sea lions, about 6 months old. They're all eating fish, so yay. We're just trying to give them some more weight so that they can be successful out in the wild. So you can see that tag right there. That's the tag I was talking about. And they have little shaves on them so that we can tell them apart. Their hair will grow back, and that's just for us to be able to tell the difference between. So yeah, so these animals just need a little bit of weight on them. They're very social, as you can see. Eventually the goal is to return them. So this is a pretty deep pool. As they start to do a little bit better, they're eating on their own. They go into deeper pools so they can practice diving. We have even a deeper pool in the back, which they're normally back there. We've brought them up front. So those lobster traps were trailing behind a whale. We cut that line. We use those buoys because the whales are going fairly fast, even though they're huge. They're massive whales. We want to slow them down so that we can safely. It's like the longest pole ever. You have this pole, and at the very edge of the pole, there's a very, very sharp knife, and you just have to cut it. But you're getting pretty close. We also have our boat that's in the middle of the park. That's our spotter boat. This is the boat where all the action's happening. We're cutting lines. It's helmets, vests, very safe.
What kind of whale
can
was
be.
it?
I believe this was a humpback whale. I have to double check, but unfortunately, it's not the only case that we've seen like that. So there's a lot of documenting. We don't have success every single time, but as long as we can get documentation, and then we can pass it down the line. If another facility sees it, they know, is the line going through the animal's mouth? Is it going under the pecs? Is it going wrapped around the tail? How bad is it? So we have GoPros in the water, drones. We have all sorts of, there's lots of elements, and sometimes it can take hours to find the whale again, to kind of come up next to it. First you have to figure out where the line is, and then try to see the best way to free it. So it's an important part of our program.
Now behind all of that, on your right, are going to be a lot of the water filtration systems that we have here in the park. There are over 150 water filtration systems in the park. They're all standard gravel filters. And all of our water comes from Mission Bay. So our little neighborhood bay is where all of our water comes from. And that's something at about 3 million gallons of water make sure this is all running smoothly, including the amazing rescue team. Oh, good. We are very excited to have you.
And we were doing a routine on an Asian plotter, so Asian river sea otter. So it was a 14-year-old female, and we were just doing blood work, fecals, X-rays, ultrasounds, doing dental. We do cleanups as well. So it was just a routine for an otter. All right, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you. So sometimes things have to be closed. That's okay. There's always a reason behind it. They gotta deal with making sure all the pipes are running. If anything leaks, they're fixing it. There's a whole dive team in the water quality team, and they go down and dive in confined spaces and make sure everything is functional and working the way it should with all the water that we have here. So let's do over on the right-hand side as much as we can. There's another group coming back. We just want to give them enough space to pass by, see everything that we got to see on this tour. Now, over on the left is where we're headed to. That is our exit. We'll head right back out to the shipwreck. Probably shipwreck.
Smells like a bloom or a flower.
Flowers. I haven't smelled too much of that.